I get this sense, I could be completely wrong, Chris, but I get this sense that rich Russians are not going to put up with this. They don't want Russia to be totally isolated, to be a pariah, to be sort of almost like a sort of North Korea. You know, they enjoy their super yachts and Chelsea and all those things far, far too much. I think it is quite credible to think that a lot of Russian conscripts do not want to fight their Slavic cousins. I mean, that makes a huge amount of sense to me as well. If we go a week or two down here, and it's pretty much a stalemate, and they're taking big casualties, and support is beginning to melt away within the army, amongst the sort of wealthy Russians, maybe big street protests in Moscow, I mean, is this man so dangerous that he could do something with nuclear warheads?
Not a chance.
No? Go on.
Not a chance. I mean, quite apart from anything else, you know, there are lots of people in that nuclear chain.
Explain.
Well, I think, you know, it depends at what level we think it is. In the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1963, the one thing the Russians learned is you don't delegate control of these, the release of these weapons down to the tactical level. We actually had captains of submarines and ships being able to do nuclear release on their own initiative. That doesn't happen anymore. It's way up the chain. Now, in order to get nuclear release, Putin himself almost would have to press the button because there's quite a few people in the chain. And I don't think...
But the worry is this man now of sound mind?
Well, I think he is of sound mind because I think what's going to happen is that he is probably going to come to the conference table, he's going to go for peace talks, and he's going to say, you know what, I'm going to hang on to what I've got now. Because that's what he wanted. He wanted southern Ukraine, he wanted Kiev, he wanted Kharkiv. And if he managed to knock out the government, that is what the agenda was. And of course, if he's able to destroy Ukraine as a functioning country with a non-functioning government, he's got what he wants.
Would he then move on to Estonia?
I think it's a different prospect with the Baltic states. You've got NATO fronting up there. I mean, what we've got to bear in mind is not 1 square metre of NATO territory has been threatened or overflown here. And so it's a different prospect altogether. The West is now thoroughly alerted. And you've got Germany on the warpath again. And you've got every other country saying, look, we've got to spend more on defence. We've actually got to, I mean, what I think has got to happen is they've got to change their attitude. I've been in many European countries, not all, where, frankly, they've been de-Bellicized. They don't get that war happens. You and I belong to a very lucky generation. We've seen a long period of what I call strategic peace, and people haven't got used to the normal way of the world, which is actually the one that we're seeing now, and that is coercive diplomacy backed up by force. And if we think Russia's bad, there's somebody else standing behind Russia, and it's called China.
Yeah, absolutely.